Hello friends, welcome to the course on machine learning. Today we are going to start with a new topic, that is classification. Now before this we have seen regression, what is regression, different types of regression and their implementation in code. Now we are going to start with classification. What is classification? Classification is all about classifying things on the basis of input features. They can be various data the text, and we have to classify whether the email is spam or not, or it can be images and we have to classify whether the image is of a cat or a dog or a person and things like that. So we are going to start with a new concept of classification, and we are going to start with the simplest one, which is logistic regression. Now you may think that it is classification, then the wise name is logistic regression. So the concept of logistic regression is similar to our regression, like multiple linear regression, but it's all the change is that the dependent variable y, or I mean the outcome, is going to be a categorical value instead of a numerical value. For example, we can see whether a basis of input features or input features of tumor, like the size of tumor, shape of tumor and its position and things like that, and we are going to predict whether the tumor is malignant or not. Now let's dive into the intuition behind the logistic regression. First, let's say we want to predict, let's say we want to classify whether the person user having specific age took an action on an advertisement or not. And so let's say here, as you can see, that there are various data points of age available in the graph, as you can see from here to here, and 0 is for the user didn't take any action, and 1 for that the user took any action on the advertisement, like on purchase the item or click on the advertisement or something like that. So let's say if we implement a simple linear regression over it, or like multiple linear regression over it, so it's going to plot a straight line, I mean plot a best fitting line of model, as you can see here, but it's going to predict a value that will be 0, 1 and 0 0.5, 0 0.75, 1.2. As you can see, the values can be more than 1 and values can be less than 1. So in order to overcome this, we can put now we can think of it like putting certain conditions, if the value is more than 1, then it will be 1, and if the value is less than 0, then we can make it to 0. But as you can see, the model's accuracy will be very low, because this straight line is not I mean it's not going to fit over the data points, and the error will be a lot between them. So the logistic regression is going to put a curve between the data points in such a way that it will fit over the data point, and it will generate the minimum error from data points and the model fitting line. Now as you can see, this green line, that is a curve, and it will be like this. So it's going to fit the data points as much as possible, and our logistic regression model is going to predict not the values, but it's going to predict the probability. Like the probability of taking an action will be 0.7, here it will be like 23%, it will be like 85%, and here it will be like 99% and things like that. And it's going to be between the range of 0 and 1. Now we can set a threshold value between here, between the probabilities, like setting a threshold value of probability of 0.5, and we are going to make it if the value probability is less than 0.5, then it's going to be treated as 0, and if the value of probability is more than 0.5, then it's going to be treated as 1. And in such a way we are going to make a prediction model which is going to make prediction of the outcome, like 0 or 1, or like whether the user took action or not. So as you can see in this image, we have like y prediction and x variable, and you can see we have a threshold of around like 0.5, and all the data points that are below the 0.5 values, like here, it's going to make prediction y hat equals to 0, and all the value above this threshold value are going to treat it as y hat is equal to 1. So that's it behind the intuition of logistic regression. So let's see it in our code. So first we are going to start by importing the required libraries, that is NumPy and Pandas, and then we are going to import our dataset. Here we are going to use this social network ads dataset, where there is a various columns such as user ID, gender, age, estimated salary and purchased. This dataset is about the user with gender, their age and their salary, and purchases for like whether after seeing the ad they purchase the item or not. 0 that the user didn't purchase the item, and 1 for the user that purchased the item. So we are going to start implementing logistic regression on this data set. So let's dive in. First we import the data set. As you can see, we created a data frame in data set using pandas and using its function .read csv, in which we pass the dataset file, that is social network ads.csv. Now all the files will be available in the description. So let's create our data frame. As you can see, this is the data frame that we just created: user id, gender, age, salary and purchase. Now here our dependent variable will be purchase, that will be our y, and 0 for not purchase and 1 for the purchase. And we can use independent variables from these. Now the user ID of all the users will be different, and they are not going to be related with our dependent variable y, that is purchase. So we are not going to use it. And it's not there not going to be relation between the gender and its purchase. I mean, they're not going to be a relation between gender and purchase, because it's not going to depend that if it's male then it's going to purchase the item, or if it's female it's going to purchase the item. So we are only going to use two independent variables, that is going to be age and its estimated salary. So let's create our independent variable x using dataset.ilog, and here we specify colon for all the rows and 2:4 for columns from 2 to 4 but exclusive of 4, so that it will be at index 2 and 3, that's our age and salary. And after that we are going to create a dependent variable y using dataset ilog, and we specified here first colon for all the rows and -1 for the last column, and use dot values to make it an array. Now after executing this two line of code, we can see that we created two variables, that is our independent variable x, that is age and salary, and our dependent variable y, that is purchase. Now first we are going to split it into a training data and testing data. So we are going to import sklearn.model selection, and we are going to import train test split function. You may have seen this before in the previous sessions. Now we are going to create four variables, that is xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest, that is our training set and testing set. And then we are going to use train underscore test underscore split function, where we are going to pass x and y, our dependent variable and independent variable, and then we are going to pass test size, that is going to be the size of testing data, and then random state for not picking random values instead of going from index 0 to end of rows. So after executing this line of code, you can see that we created four variables: xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest. Here as you can see, the value of age is way too less compared to the salary. So our model is going to make it like the value of salary is way too much compared to the age. So it's going to use a salary for making most of the prediction, because the value is huge, and it's going to make it like the most of the difference, or like most of the relation is on the basis of salary. We don't want to do that, because it's going to reduce the accuracy of our model. So we are going to apply feature scaling on it, and by applying the feature scaling on these, the values will be like comparatively equal or like nearly equal, so they can be used to fit our model, and that's going to make prediction much more accurate compared to the normal one. Now we are going to apply feature scaling on it, so that we are going to import first from sklearn.preprocessing, and then we are going to import standard scalar class, and then we created a sc underscore x object of standard scalar class. Now we are going to apply feature scaling on our training data and testing data of independent variable. So first let's on in the training data xtrain, and then we use sc underscore x and its function fit underscore transform, and then we pass training data. So after executing this line of code, you can see that we created a x underscore train and applied feature scaling in it. Now after that we are going to apply feature scaling on our testing data of independent variable. So xtest, So we are going to assign the values to x test, and then we use sc underscore x and use dot transform, just only transform because we already fitted it into the variable x underscore train. So we are going to use sc underscore x dot transform function, and then we are going to pass x underscore test. So it's only going to apply feature scaling on testing data. So after executing this line of code, we are going to have a new feature scale testing set of independent variables. Now we are going to apply logistic regression, and we are going to create our model. So first we are going to import logistic regression class from sklearn.linear model. After that, we are going to create an object named classifier, and we are going to create it as an object of logistic regression class, and we are going to pass random state is equals to 0, so it's not going to pick random data points for making model. So after executing this line of code, you can see we created an object, we created our classifier model of logistic regression. Now after that, we need to first fit it into our training set. So we are going to use classified.fit function, and then we are going to pass x underscore train and y underscore train. So this is going to fit our model with training set. Now we need to make prediction on testing set. So we are going to use yPredict is equals to classifier.predict and x underscore test. After executing this line of code, you can see we created a variable yPredict, and this is the prediction that our model made, and we also have yTest available, that is the actual value, and these are the predictions. So we can compare the values from it, like 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0. Here it makes an error, here it makes prediction of 1, well actual value is around like 0. So in order to check the accuracy of our model, we are going to use confusion matrix. So we are going to use confusion matrix. You may not be familiar with confusion matrix, so first let's create our confusion matrix, and then we are going to see how it works and what this is all about. So first we are going to import confusion matrix class from sklearn.matrix. After that, we are going to create a confusion matrix named cm using confusion matrix, and then we are going to pass both the values, that is the actual value of our testing set and the prediction of our testing set. So after that, it's going to make a matrix. Now this is a matrix. Now here the above 0 1 is about the actual values of our testing set, and this value on the left hand side, that is 0 and 1, this is about the testing predictions, the prediction made on the testing set. Now this confusion matrix defines that the actual value of there is around like 65 actual values, that is 0, and our model makes a current prediction of 0, and there is around like 24 values, actual value, that is 1, that is for purchase, and our actual model also make the prediction of 1 for them. But there are three values, there are three actual values where the values were 1 and our model make a prediction of 0, and there were around like 8 values where the actual value were 0 but our model make a prediction of 1. So in this way we can see the actual we can see our accuracy and like how accurate our model makes predictions. Like it make a prediction around 65 true for 0 values and 24 true for 1 value, and make a error in 8 values where the actual value was 0 and make prediction 1, and where the actual value was 1 for and made prediction 0. So in this way we can see our accuracy of our model. We can also calculate it using by adding these true values that model make prediction, that is 65 plus 24, and we can divide it by the total number of rows, that is 100. In our testing set the total number of rows is 100. So let's compute it. It make prediction 64 plus 25 true, that is around like 89, and then divide by 100, so it's making an accuracy of around like 89%. So that's it for our today's session. Hope you like it. Keep learning.